Hey guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps today. I want to talk about this. You guys, Thomas Markle Sr., of course, Meghan's dad, just went on, what's it called, Good Morning Britain, and it's heartbreaking. So I wanted to address it. I want to react to it. I want to go through it with you all and discuss. You guys, I'm not going to lie, it's hard to watch. It really is. It's very heartbreaking. If you haven't seen Thomas Markle Sr. since he's been through, the strokes, etc., it's sad. He explains he's had to basically regain his speech. Thomas Markle Jr. went into it in our interview. He talked about he's approximately $30,000 in medical debt because it's just been so much to recover from. I feel for the guy. I really do. It's heartbreaking to see. It's heartbreaking to watch. I thought he did a great job on the interview. It's just such a heartbreaking subject. And again, it makes you really feel for the guy. Meanwhile, you got this one prancing around, trying to make things about herself, wearing a $64,000 pinky ring. You guys, I cannot with this. I'm still reacting to and getting strong reactions sent to me about the marching thing. That is just the most rude, disrespectful thing. If you missed it, I did a live chat on Saturday where I really went into how rude and awful and disrespectful that was. I won't get into a tangent here, but I'm telling you, I spent about 2 hours reacting to that. And I know sometimes the chat ones, the live chats can be boring to go back and watch. I would recommend watching that one because I'm able to get pictures up on the screen and we go through each horrible thing she did at Invictus as well as each horrible outfit. So check that out. But let's get into this interview again with her dad, Thomas Markle Sr. And this is, of course, a reaction video. I say this all the time, but I still get comments because people don't understand YouTube. But if you want to find the uninterrupted video, all you have to do is search Good Morning Britain, Thomas Markle, and this pops up. I can't just play their video. I'm reacting to it. So this is me that's going to watch and pause and react. So that's what we're going to do. So thank you guys for being here with me. I'm excited to have you. I appreciate you all so much. Let's jump into this.
And Thomas, you believe that this will be your last ever live television interview. You have a final television message for your daughter, don't you?
No, not my last, but I still haven't seen my grandkids, and that's it is about.
Do you see why I keep using the word heartbreaking? It is. I hate to see him struggle like that. I hate what he's going through. I hate what he's having to deal with. And then on top of it all, of course, not being able to see his daughter, not being able to see the grandkids as well. I do want to give him kudos. I think his timing is brilliant on this. I do. I think with her thinking she's just come off this big event, again, knowing she and Harold and how they handled Australia so poorly, but they kept thinking they were rock stars after that. I feel like the same is probably happening off this. So I'm glad he took this opportunity to remind everybody what a monster she is.
I want to see my grandkids, and I think the king would like to see his grandkids as well.
Susanna and I last spoke to you, I think it was October 2021. And I remember one of the first things you said to us was that this was going to become a regular thing, that you were going to go on television. You said to us about once a month to keep pushing until finally the door opened and you got a chance to see your daughter again. You're not that bothered about Harry, but you wanted to see Meg again and you want to see the grandchildren. And then you had the stroke. You were very ill with that stroke. As Susanna said, you lost the power of speech. Did Meghan make any attempt, even via a third party, to see how you were doing?
To my knowledge, no attempts at all.
But this is also your reminder that she just basically took over the stage of Invictus, where she did not belong, and gave a speech about the importance of family. Just let that sink in. The layers of hypocrisy continue.
No one tried. I haven't seen Meghan and Harry in 5 years. And the last time I spoke with them, I was on a hospital bed before the wedding.
And since we're talking about hypocrisy, I would like to remind you all that you could Google Meghan Markle forgiveness speech and find where she says, I think forgiveness is really important. It takes a lot more energy to not forgive. It's just more of her word salad, buzzwords, saying things to sound important, but not actually doing them or following through.
You see, if that was me, and I was, at death's door for quite a few weeks and months, and my daughter turned her back on me, I'd be heartbroken. How do you feel?
Well, I guess heartbroken. I'm very upset about it as well, because this is a cruel thing to do to our grandparent. Not to just me, to the King of England as well.
I truly feel for, both grandparents in this situation. That is an awful, awful situation to be in. And again, I just don't understand how anybody at this point could blindly follow Harry and Meghan.
Denied the right to see a grandchildren. You have to forgive my voice, but I'm trying to say it the best way I can.
This is I think the first time, or maybe the most, I've seen him speak after all this, and I feel for the guy. It's just a poignant reminder of what he's had to deal with, both mentally and physically, after all this. Having to deal with his health issues on top of the stress of what he's going through with all the family stuff. Oh, it's just sad to see.
We can hear in your speech the effects of the stroke. How else has it affected you?
Well, there's no cure for a stroke. You learn to manage it. So I'm managing the voice. I started with no voice at all. I didn't have any voice at all, and now it's getting better. And when I take my time and sound out the words, it gets much better. But it's a management thing every day.
What would you like to say to your daughter?
Ooh, can I go first? Go to hell. Go straight to hell. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. That's probably where I'd start. But I could think of some more interesting words, but you two probably get mad at me for using them. What about you guys?
We have interviewed you a number of times. You've been on Good Morning Britain a number of times over the past few years. And I have to admit, I've had ambivalent feelings about it because, every member of a family is entitled not to speak to another member of their family if they feel wounded and hurt. And then when the book came out and the 6-part Netflix documentary came out, I think I changed my view a little bit because they are very open about the rifts in the family and they have not remained quiet. And so I think you are entitled to speak.
I am so glad she brought this up because this does come up in the comments a lot. And here's my thoughts on this. I have been very vocal from the beginning about my dislike of Meghan Markle and Harry. I openly questioned the family as well, the Markle family. I've discussed it in old videos about I wasn't sure about it. But if you stuck with me and watched my videos, you've seen I've come around, and this is exactly why. I actually understand that they're stuck between a rock and a hard place. No matter what they do, it's going to be the wrong answer in terms of how a lot of people see them. Not us, but a lot of people see them. And I feel for them because here you got Harry and Meghan speaking up at every possible opportunity to speak bad about both families, right? And to bash them and to spin whatever they want to spin about them. And the Markles have no voice. I don't think that's at all fair. So I actually don't fault them again, I've changed my view. I don't fault them anymore about going on and talking about things, because what other choice do they have? Nobody's listening, and all that we're getting is Harry and Meghan's side of the story, and I don't think that's right.
Speak about family relations and rifts, and I know that you don't have direct contact, so I can understand why you want to use television channels to get your message across. And Meghan, of course, is entitled to heed or not heed what you say. But if she is watching, and if she does hear, what would you like her to hear from you directly?
Put the past behind us and allow me to see my grandkids. In California, I can actually sue to see them, but I don't want to do that. And the other thing is, I've done nothing wrong. There's nothing that points to me and says I'm a bad guy. As a matter of fact, I'm a really loving father, and she knows that. And there's no excuse for her to treat me this way. No excuse to treat the king that way as well. It's really ridiculous. No excuse to treat grandparents that way.
I mean, it's so well said. He perfectly summed it up here, and I've had comments saying the same thing. He should sue to see his grandkids, but I think, to me, that just adds to the more genuineness of him saying, well, I don't want to do that. I want her to come to this decision on her own. Now, we know she's a terrible person and she won't, but I'm telling you, like, I appreciate what he's saying even more.
I must be honest with you. I'm sort of with Susanna on this. I was looking through all the notes on this story yet again last night, and I was struggling to work out what it is seriously that you've done wrong. I mean, given that the two of them have been so open with their personal details with the world's media through the TV series and through the book, given what you did just before they got married, which was to get into an unfortunate...
You know, they did a great job on this interview. This host makes such a good point. What is it that he did that was so bad? And again, I've come around on that too. I now believe that he was completely set up by Meghan and her people, or so, somebody in the inner circle. That's my personal opinion there. But what is it that he did that was so bad that we haven't seen, again, Meghan and Harry do? What, pose for paparazzi shots? Have we not seen that a million times? I mean, damn, we just took pictures of Meghan through a drive-through window. Give me a break. She's waving at the paparazzi at the airport. Give me a break. We've seen Doria do this recently with the Kardashians, with just walking down the street, that they happen to know where she's at so she can smile for the camera, right? It's absolutely ridiculous, and it was just, in my opinion, an excuse for Meghan to not include the Markle family in the wedding.
A relationship with a tabloid hack. I mean, there are worse crimes, to be honest, that are committed by fathers against their children. What do you think it is? I mean, you know Meghan probably better than anyone except Harry.
I don't think Harry knows her at all. I don't think he knew what he was getting himself into. I don't think he knows what day of the week it is.
And her mother. What do you think it is which is allowing her to maintain this distance, given that actually what's happened between you isn't that serious?
I really have no idea. And as far as the thing I'm accused of, it turns out I was set up for that, and set up to ruin the wedding. It was a ploy by a company,
and by Meghan too, in my opinion.
I was a victim.
Thomas, we understand there was that incident with those staged paparazzi photographs, and that had caused a breakdown before the wedding. But during the documentary, Meghan said, after the wedding, my father did interviews, mostly saying things about me. It was incredibly painful.
Again, that is rich with hypocrisy because that's all those two do, are interviews about both sides of the family. So what are we talking about here? We want privacy, right?
And the world is watching this drama play out. And then he started criticising the royal family. It was very embarrassing for the family. It was a problem that needed to be solved. And they wanted me to make it stop. And because I'd reached out to Her Majesty, I was like, this is what's going on. What do you want me to do? What advice do you have? And ultimately, it was suggested by the Queen that I write my father a letter. Now, that letter was then given by you, presumably, to the Mail on Sunday. And Meghan successfully sued the Mail on Sunday for publishing that letter. Is that not also something that's contributed to the rift?
I think this is an unfair assumption as well. I don't think it was Thomas that gave the letter up. He's denied it. And we've been through it. But you know my thoughts on this. I believe it was Meghan or her people, in my opinion, that did it because she clearly wrote it with the intention of it being seen. We've been through all the evidence that points to it. But might I just say, she signed it Meghan Markle. Are you going to sign a letter to your dad with your first and last name? Probably not.
One page of the letter I released, but not the entire letter. I never released that to anyone.
But you released part of it.
And a very hateful letter, a very hateful letter from my daughter to me.
What I would like to ask him, and I don't think it's ever been asked, maybe it has, but is the letter that allegedly she or her people or whomever leaked, is that the same version that he got? Because he has talked about this before, how hateful the letter was he got. So it leads me to believe maybe there were pieces that were edited out. So that way when it was leaked by whomever, I'm using sarcastic quotes there, that they leaked the softer version of the letter and he got a harder version of the letter, and she banked on the idea that he wouldn't actually share the horrible version. All of it's horrible, but you know what I mean, the worst version.
Did you ever see...
And I don't deserve that.
I just want to come back to my last question to you, Thomas. I mean, did you ever see anything in Meghan as she was growing up, before the rift, before she met Harry, which made you think that she was capable of this kind of complete cutting off, that she was capable of doing that?
Meghan lived with me from the 6th grade to high school, and I never saw anything like that with her. And well, also college, we get along fine then too as well. I never saw the kind of woman she turned into. I'm shocked to this date to tell you that, because she's not the person I knew as my daughter.
If that doesn't break your heart, I truly don't know what would.
Do you blame Harry for that?
I think Harry was clueless and blind and bought hook, line, and sinker whatever bullshit Meghan was feeding him. I mean, we've heard in the books that allegedly Trevor said at their wedding, "I'll be the family Meghan never had," and then there was something along those lines that Harry said as well, leading us to believe that Meghan is feeding this same bullshit wherever she goes. You know, she's always going to play victim and play. I think Tom Markle Jr. said something like playing orphan, basically. So I feel like, yeah, he's spot on.
I don't know. I don't know. I blame her or Harry. I think she had influence on Harry more than he does on want So I blame Harry.
If the worst should happen, I mean, one of the reasons you're giving this interview is because you've had some very serious ill health, which you continue to battle.
Yes.
And as I said, you're going to be 80 next July. We're none of us here forever. And if you were never to speak to her again, what message would you leave her with? What would you like to say to her It's a one-way communication because she ain't going to answer. But what would you like to say to her? What would your last will and testament to your daughter be?
Well, I've always been here for her. I still love her. I love her forever. I never change that feeling. But I want her to reach out to me and let me see my grandkids and let me have a little peace. And it's been 5 years. Guys go for things in prison for 5 years and then they're forgiven. I didn't do anything. So forget me, I guess. But
So well said. I'm so glad he did this. I'm so glad he had the opportunity to put this out here and to let his words be out there. It's got to be so hard for him. And I don't just mean physically, but I just mean so hard for him to speak up like this because, I mean, it's obvious how much he loves her, but he feels like he has no other choice. And again, I mean, I can't blame the guy at this point. Oh, man. Oh, I want to send him hugs. We did hear in the interview with Tom Jr. that there may be, hopefully Tom Jr. is trying to work on something with his dad, maybe in the way of a book. We'll see what happens there. I told him I'd be first in line to buy it. I had a lot of you saying you'd be right behind me. We'd all buy that book. So I do hope they follow through with that. But guys, man, this was heartbreaking. I keep saying heartbreaking. This was gut-wrenching to see. It really was. I hate to see him struggle like this. I hate what he's been through. I hate what he's had to deal with. And I keep going back to the paparazzi of it all. I've discussed this at length. You know, at this point, so what? Let's say he did do it. Let's say it was his idea. I don't believe it, but let's just say it was his idea. And he's like, I'm going to make all this money. I'm going to get my photos out there, whatever the motivation was. Again, I don't believe it, but let's just play devil's advocate here. So what at this point? So what? We've seen these two do so much worse so many times. All he's asking for is a conversation with Meghan, for them to let it go while he still has a chance, and it sounds like for him to see his grandkids. And yet she's so busy playing victim or playing marching out in front of veteran. You guys, I cannot even with this bullshit. She's so busy doing that and trying to get attention on herself with her rictus grin that she can't be bothered. She'll give speeches about forgiveness and healing and things like that. But when it comes to her own dad or her own family, she just can't be bothered. Same with Harold. They're a match made in hell. You guys, that's it for me. I really wanted to talk about this. Thank you for sticking with me on this. I really appreciate it. Sending love and healing to her dad, Thomas Markle Sr. I hate seeing him like this and knowing what he's going through. It's awful. And then again, hearing Tom Jr. explaining the medical expenses, it's heartbreaking. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for being here. You know, I appreciate you all. I can't stand these two. I appreciate you. If you want to further support the show, check out the merch. We got Drunk Goose Club. Honk, honk, everybody. You guys, I had a new Sugars video go up this weekend. It was so funny and so fun, and I've had so many funny responses to it. So if you didn't see it, go watch that. It'll give you a laugh. What else? If you want to further support, check out Patreon, patreon.com/Real Housewives Recaps. That's where I give tons of bonus content about every other day. I'm putting something up. We have group chats. We have we share pictures, or it's hard to share pictures on there, but we talk about things. We do videos. I give, again, extra content about every other day. We look at old interviews. We discuss amongst ourselves. It's a wonderful group. I'm really enjoying it. So check that out. That's where you can become an executive producer. And now I'm going to thank my executive producers. And I want to thank each and every one of you. Thanks for being here. A huge thank you to Linda. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you to Paige. Huge thank you to Teresa. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Kay. Thank you, Shauna. Thank you, Brenda. Thank you, Aaron and Frank. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you, Ann M. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Ann H. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Glynis. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Patty. Thank you, Adair Becker. Thank you to Erica. Thank you, Amber. Thank you, Annette. Thank you, Barb G. Thank you to Diana. Thank you, Allison B. Thank you, Jean. Thank you, Lori. Thank you to Pauline. Thank you to KT. Thank you, Jolene. Thank you, Stromboli. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Loie. Thank you, Lucy H. Thank you to Georgia. Thank you, Susie. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you, Robbins Landing. Thank you to Helen. Thank you to Mara. Thank you, Ashley C. Thank you to Molly. Thank you, Amber. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Sand Squid. Thank you to Rach. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you, Dee Dee. Thank you, Nina. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you, Penny. Thank you, Domby. Thank you, Android P. Thank you to Sheena. Thank you, Aaron M. Thank you, Faye. Thank you, Judith. Thank you, Spectrum Mom. Thank you, Vanessa B. Thank you, Christy. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Mimi Heathcote. Thank you, Misty. Thank you, Candy. Thank you, Anita. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you to Bree. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you to Elvis Rose here on YouTube. Thank you to Lori. Thank you, Tim B. Thank you, Jean. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Elisa. Thank you, Kathy with a C. Thank you, Allison. Thank you, Christina. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Marianne. Thank you to Patricia. Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you, Ridley. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Jill. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you, John. Thank you, Donna D. Thank you, Diana. Thank you, Chewy. Thank you, Christina. Thank you, 509 Cougs. Thank you, Julie. Thank you, BJ. Thank you, Big Bad John. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Duck Barf. Your name is always funny to me. Thank you, Susie. Thank you, Vicky loves her corgi. Thank you, Charisse. Thank you, Kate. Thank you, Genesee. Thank you, Essie. Thank you, Lady Grandmother. Thank you, Christy. Thank you, Funky Buddha. And thank you, Trish. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Kate Coffee. Thank you, Anne. Thank you, Sheila. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Bree. Thank you, K Cubed. Thank you, Christy. Thank you, Peggy. Thank you, Stragoria. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you, Christina. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Claire. Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you, Angela. Thank you, Morty, por favor. Thank you, Penny. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Salami Mommy. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Zara. Thank you, Shiny. Thank you, Lori. Thank you, Annette. Thank you, Annalise. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Airdrie. Thank you, Lori Ann. Thank you, Nina. Thank you, Colleen. Thank you, Megan. Thank you, Krisha. Thank you, Jay Jordan. Thank you, Ariella. Thank you, David the Maine Coon. Thank you, Little P. Thank you, Big City Eileen. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Carrie. Can you guys believe I ran out of namespace on the other one, so I had to start a new list here. It's just unbelievable. Thank you to everybody who has signed up to be an executive producer. If you're interested, definitely check out patreon.com/Real Housewives Recaps. Thank you guys for everything. Have a great day. Bye-bye.